Yes, sir, you know we had to do it. When making a video about this player, talking about this sort of a thing, I had to go out there and make the thumbnail in the style of, you know, that movie from a decade ago with Channing Tatum and Rachel McAdams. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. But either way, we have ourselves an article on MontrealGazette.com talking about the Montreal Canadiens' recent first overall pick in 2022, Juraj Slafkovsky. And it goes over a whole bunch of quotes made by Slafkovsky as to what he vows for next season. Yes, the Canadiens and Slafkovsky are renewing their vows with this article published a few days ago on April 10th. Now, for those who are unaware, Juraj Slafkovsky, as we did just talk about, first overall guy in 2022, he made the NHL right away. He had 10 points in 39 games played. And the guy didn't really play too amazingly. Like, sure, there were moments where you realize, okay, yeah, he's probably an NHL player. Like, he's capable enough, he's strong enough, he's fast enough, he's quick enough to be in this league. But, of course, this was not one of these Connor McDavid moments where the first overall guy who is only 18 gets like 70, 80 points or whatever. This was not one of those years. Juraj Slafkovsky was not a high-flying, offensively potent center. He was more of a winger, a power guy that's got some skill, that's got some size, and if everything panned out, he could be a very strong player in the National Hockey League. It's just, you know, he's only 18, so it's not really expectant that he's going to pan out right away. Either way, though, he played 39 games on the season. He was sidelined due to injury, and he's been out for quite a while. But this article on the Gazette goes out there and talks about Slafkovsky's vows to return to the Canadiens as a more complete player next season. This was published by Herb Zurkowski, and the subheadline says this: "I know what I need to work on, what type of player I am," he said, "my size and everything. I just need to make it work all together." Without further ado, let's head over onto this article and read the quotes made by Slafkovsky on this piece. "Of course, you always want to accomplish more," the 19-year-old Slovak said. By the way, that should say Slovak and not Slovakian. Yeah, that's wrong. Either way, the Slovak said on Monday, one of three players alongside with defenseman Juraj Slafkovsky and Cooley, the organization made available to the media while the team practiced at the Bell Sports Complex in preparation for Wednesday night's road game against the Islanders. Here are some more quotes from the man himself. "I have high standards and I want to do more," Slafkovsky added. "It would have been much nicer to finish the season and play 80 games. I stopped in the middle of my journey with just half a season, but you can get it back quick." Slafkovsky, who hasn't been on the ice since January 15th, skated for the first time on Monday after the team workout. "I know what I need to work on, what type of a player I am. My size and everything, I just need to make it work all together. In this league, it's very specific, and I'm trying to find a balance between all the things I can do. The coaches are helping me find the best version of myself so I can help the team win." And you know, that's a pretty good thing that he's going out there and acknowledging that he does have pretty much all the tools necessary to become an effective player that can make an impact in this league. I'm not going to go out there and say effective player to the magnitude that justifies getting taken first overall. I think there's still a pretty big hill to climb there. But just recognizing that he does have the skills, he does have the size, he has all the tools, he just has to find a way to balance everything and put it together in the most appropriate way possible to become an effective player here. And of course, it is good that he's saying that the coaching staff is helping him find the best version of himself. "I'm a big guy who has to use his size. Use all the skills I have," he said. "I think I can still score some goals. We'll see. I just want to be the best team player and win as many games as we can." And another thing that I really like about this, by the way, the rest of the article kind of goes over some more quotes made by Jiricek and Kaden Cooley, so that's kind of the end of the Slovak conversation there with Slafkovsky. But I did think it was important to go out there and acknowledge how he is indeed vowing to return to the Habs in a way that sees him be more effective with all the tools that he has. It's good that he's just kind of outlining the plan here, mostly because for a lot of these younger guys, you know, especially earlier on into their careers, it could be easy to see them get off track a little bit, and I mean, it doesn't really take a genius to see the Canadiens' history of guys that have been sort of down that unfortunate path where maybe in their first season they're okay, and then afterwards they sort of fail to live up to the expectations of growth, and with guys like Kotkaniemi and Drouin sort of entering that conversation, and then all the other bunches of guys that are included in there too. Galchenyuk, I guess you could say, you could debate a few other players as well, but because the Canadiens have sort of seen this pattern where guys just sort of fade out after being highly touted as younger players, it is a good thing that Slafkovsky is kind of setting the record straight and saying what needs to be said to acknowledge that there are things he needs to work on and that he's taking the proper precautions to address those things. Now, for me personally, I don't know where exactly that's going to take him in 2023, 2024. If Slafkovsky comes out here and is twice the player than he was last year, then he would probably be on pace for like 40 points-ish in a season. And I don't want to make it seem like that's impossible for the guy, but he did only have 10 points in 31 Liga games last year, as well as 10 points in 39 NHL games this year. It hasn't really been like Slafkovsky has been the biggest, baddest point producer ever since his junior days, pretty much. So I don't really see him exploding offensively next season. I feel like it's going to take a really long time for him to find his game and become the best version of himself. Power forwards like Todd Bertuzzi, for example, usually take a while. So for Juraj Slafkovsky, who is 6'3", 238 as a 19-year-old player, by the way, belated happy birthday to Juraj. He turned 19 on March 30th, so just a few days ago. I don't necessarily know what a good offseason will look like on the ice next season. It probably entails a lot of minor details, a lot of things that won't reflect in the score sheet. Like if you're watching Juraj, you're probably hoping that he keeps his head up a little bit more, that he's able to sort of keep up with the pace a bit more and just make the right reads more often than not. Coming out of those 50-50 battles, winning those 50-50 battles, putting himself in a position where those battles are no longer 50-50, but rather, let's say 60-40 or 65-35, making the proper adjustments to his game to allow puck play to facilitate itself more properly for his team. That's all fine and dandy, and it sounds good, but it's very difficult to quantify. You can only really see this on the ice when the guy is of a better mindset and understanding of the game. So for Juraj Slafkovsky, just hearing that the coaches are going to help him out on a lot of these things, add on the skills, he says he has higher standards and he wants to do more. You know, that's a vow, and I like to hear that, especially for a guy that has such high expectations because he was the first overall freaking pick last year. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Juraj Slafkovsky and his vow. I'm using that vow thing because I really like the thumbnail idea that I came up with here. But the article will be in the description if you want to go ahead and see other comments made by Kaden Cooley, Arbor Jakai, etc., etc. There are a few other things talking about their own games, and it's discussed all in the piece, so click the link in the description if you want to go ahead and see what they have to say about them, but this video was of course only about Slafkovsky. Thoughts in the comment section as well. What are your opinions about Juraj and the way that he is hopefully going to progress this offseason? What are your expectations for him next season? If you think that next season is going to be a good season, what does that look like to you? How many points does he get, and how does he look on the ice? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.